Korea is full of a rich martial art history and tradition. Haidonggumdo is a Korean martial art that uses a sword as a weapon. It has a long history dating back to the 3rd century when General Yu Yu of Goguryeo Kingdom founded the Jangbeknyu sword art system. For centuries, this sword art was practiced among soldiers as a core curriculum. As time passed by, the sword art changed into a sport and the art form to help practitioners build character and improve fitness. In modern time, Grandmaster Jung Ho Kim systemized it to fit into the new needs of the new society. Modern Haidonggumdo is structured in a variety of ways. There are fundamentals, forms, actual cutting and combat drills. The techniques are very practical, but the training method are yet mystical. Fundamentals in Haidonggumdo include good stance, good grip, cutting, and moving. Cutting includes the straight cut, angular cut, lateral cut, and diagonal cut. These cutting techniques can be combined with footwork. With footwork, the practice goes to attack the opponent in front or even behind. Multiple cuts are good to improve your ability to coordinate your body and to focus the energy level for effective striking. Combinations of single fundamentals can also be practiced against incoming opponents, such as front and back, front, side, and back. In the practice of the sword art, proper breathing is critical. Simply because breathing is the channeling of energy through the technique. When the energy level is at maximum, the impact becomes maximum. In Haidonggumdo practice, a special method of breathing called the 단전 호흡 is used to enhance the internal power. 단전 is the name of the bodily part 2 inches below the belly button. 단전 swells when you breathe in and it shrinks when you breathe out. The key in this breathing method is to breathe in through your nose as slowly as you can and to breathe out through your mouth at the same speed you breathe in. You may begin 단전 호흡 from 1 minute, then 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and most students do 5 minutes at one time. Since you must squat deeply into horse riding stance, it is not as easy as it appears. Patience and inner strength will be improved as you practice. 기마 means horse riding, 견적 means aiming at the opponent with a sword. This stance is used only in practice of basic techniques to improve conditioning and the strength. 대도 견적세 is a more aggressive stance than 기마 견적세. Your 1 foot step forward about 2 feet and put it in 90-degree angle to the other foot and aim the tip of a sword slightly lower than the opponent's eye. 조천세 is a high sword stance. Your sword is above your head in 45-degree angle. Your left hand is 2 inches above the forehead. Both elbows are 90-degree bent. 금계 독립 팔상세 is the one-leg crane stance. The shoulder and elbow of the holding arm must be parallel to the ground. The other hand is positioned in front of your chest, holding the end of the grip of the sword. Haidonggumdo begins and ends with etiquette. Bow is the token of respect to yourself and others. Put your free hand in front of you as you see in the demonstration and bend your waist 45 degrees. When you draw the sword, do it by turning the scabbard clockwise so that the sword is drawn at horizontal angle to the ground. To grip the sword properly, hold the bottom of the sword with the 3 fingers firmly and circle around grip with index and thumb gently. Then put the other hand 1 fist distance apart and hold the handle as you did with the other hand. The tip of the sword is aiming right below the eyes when you hold it. Before you put the sword back to the scabbard, shake the dirt or blood off the sword first. Then bring the back of the sword to the mouth of the scabbard in 90-degree angle. Then raise the grip and put the sword in the scabbard. Finally, end the procedure with a polite bow. Basic technique practice consists of attention and bow, horse riding stance, and drawing the sword. The first technique is 정면 내려배기, which is straight cut. Most of the counting is done 8 to 10 times. The second technique is 좌우배기, which is a left-right cut. The third technique is 3단 내려배기, which is the combination of 3 cuts, that is, straight, left, and right cut. The fourth technique is 횡단 일금, which is left, right, horizontal cut. The fifth technique is 광자배기, which is the combination of a straight cut, left, right cut, horizontal cut, and angular diagonal cut. 대도견적세 is the sixth technique, which is done against opponents both in front and behind. 금계동리 팔상세 is the seventh technique. Then the eighth technique is 자연세, which is natural stance. In this stance, you can have a great deal of mobility to cut by moving forward and backward, and to the left side and to the right side. 이어배기 means continuous straight.
좌로, 우로, 우로. 자, 소도견적세.
소도견적세 is a ninth technique, which is shorter than 대도견적세, but with more mobility of your footwork.
조천세.
조천세 is the 10th technique. 조천세 is a preparation stance for downward cutting.
내려배기.
After 10 basic techniques, put the sword back to the scabbard and end it with a polite bow.
차렷. 경례.
심상검법 is the last form to become a black belt. This form has all the elements of the basic techniques of Haidonggumdo. It requires a great deal of precision and speed. 심상 means reading the mind of the opponent to make effective defense and offense activity. Through practice of a 심상검법, you can learn effective countering methods by spotting opponent's opening and by drawing the opponent into your strategy through your deception. 심상검법 is very smooth and free-flowing, but each technique has a deadly power. This form consists of 4 segments demonstrating master ease, master 규태 심.
10어에는 심규태 관장님이 보여주고 계십니다.
Now he pretends to put his sword back to his scabbard and suddenly attack the unexpected opponent.
배기와 찌르기, 그리고 걷어내기, 말아배기, 전후 좌우의 공격을 자유자재로 하기 위한 검법이 되겠습니다.
As you see in the demonstration, 심상검법 includes a variety of techniques such as thrusting, blocking, cutting, left-right cut, front and behind attack and defense. At the end, he is shaking the blood and dirt of the sword before putting it into the scabbard. Haidonggumdo is a black belt form. This form progresses very lightly and smoothly.
쌍수검법을 하는데 그 검법과는 굉장히 성격이 틀린 검형이 되겠죠. 쌍수검법이 무겁다면은
The differences
예도검법은
from
굉장히
other
가볍게
forms are that
진행됩니다.
The sword that is used for Haidonggumdo is shorter and lighter, and that the movement is shorter and abrupt, and its lines and movements are very unpredictable. The reason is that this form was designed against the unexpected assassination attempts, which were very common in the ancient and medieval period among royal families. The short sword was usually hidden in the long sleeve of the jacket. The demonstrating master is Haidong.
동국검법은 중국에서도 우리나라 검수를 높이 평가할 만큼 검의 아주 그 파괴력과
Haidonggumdo is one of the most powerful form in Haidonggumdo. Haidonggumdo is a powerful form that uses a large circular motions.
3단 과정에서 수련을 하고
This form is for third dan black belt students. The demonstrating master is Nanyang Kim.
시범에는 김난현 사범께서 해주시겠습니다. 보시는 장백권법은
Jangbek-gumpo is the soul of Haidonggumdo.
장백산에서 나온 무술입니다.
The name is made after the name of the mountain
회전 반경이 크고
in Korea
또
called the
파괴력이
Jangbek Mountain.
어떤 권법보다
These spinning techniques create the deadly power and beauty of the sword.
검의 각도가
This form
정확하게
requires
이루어져야만
a precision in the angle of the sword blade.
시범에는
The power must come not only from the sword but more from the center of the body through the sword. Demonstrating master is Changu Kwak. Gyeokgum is actual sword combat practice against the opponent. The practitioners must be extremely cautious and serious in Gyeokgum practice. Here are 4 cautions. 1. Do not hit your opponent with your sword. 2. Avoid force-to-force contact, but receive in a circular force. 3. Do attack continuously and precisely. 4. Observe the opponent's movement carefully and prevent defeat.
저는 정주희라고 하고요.
My name is
검도를 한 지는
Ju
3년이
Jung.
조금
I've
넘었고
practiced
3단입니다.
Haidonggumdo over 3 years. Initially,
좀 몸이
I began
빈약한
gumdo practice to improve my fitness and to build some muscles. After achieving all those initial goals, I also found some other benefits, so I keep practicing. This technique is wooden sword cut technique by focusing the energy at the tip
강목을
of
자르는
the weapon. You must focus your inner energy and cut the target at one stroke. To develop the internal energy, I practice dungeon hope in every
자르거나
session.
대나무를 베거나 그렇게 하면은
When I cut, I
This is-
focus my mind on to the target and believe that I can make it. In practicing martial arts, I think having confidence is the most important, as well as effort and belief in self. When I started Haidonggumdo, I was scared because every student was swinging around the sword in the class.
내 몸이 건강해지는
Now
것
I
같고 남들보다
Take my sword as a
특히
part of my
남자들보다 더
body.
인내력 같은 것도
Of course, I
생기고요.
have no fear.
일단은 몸이 탄탄해지고
I got a lot of
증상이
healthier
다 빠지고
and
그렇기
more
때문에요.
patient
여성들
than
미용에도
ever
굉장히
before.
좋은 것 같고요.
I lost most of the
그리고
fat in
탄력이
my
있기
body
때문에 자기
and gained a
본인한테
great deal
굉장히
of
좋을 것
muscles through practice, and it's good for young women like me.
와서 모르겠는데요. 한 두세
Well,
명
I think I
모르겠어요.
can defeat 2 or 3 men. My name is Jin. I am the headmaster of Haidonggumdo school.
김교영입니다.
I have
지금
trained
해동금도
over 10 years
수련한
and currently 5th dan.
5단이고요. 5단이고 수련한 지는 10년 정도 됐습니다.
And this technique is bamboo cutting technique. Bamboo is compared to the bone of the opponent in practice. The most important
배는
things
기술인데요.
in this technique
이것은
are the right angle of the
검도
cut
수련 한 2년
and the
정도
focus
하신
of
분
energy.
이상이 돼야만이
After 2 years of
이 정도
training, you
대나무를
can
벨 수가
begin
있습니다.
this practice.
정확한 각도와 그다음에
To do this, you must have a firm foundation of a basic technique, an angle control, and cutting experience. Prerequisite requirements for this technique is mastery of 심상검법 and 예도검법.
그 다음에 수련하시는 그 한 과정이 되겠습니다.
Since this technique is to cut the bone of the opponent, you must generate a significant amount of power and
우선
absolute
정확한 각도와
knowledge
그다음에
and
순발력,
determination
그다음에
of the
자기가
target.
어디를 벨 것인가 하는 그 정확한 타점 이런 여러 가지 복합적으로
The final outcome is just a cut. That takes place in a fraction of a second.
처음 입문해서
So
가장
everything
힘들었던
that you
것은
have, every knowledge that you know must be totally integrated into that fraction of the moment. The most difficult part of training has
내공을
been
쌓는
the absolute
데에서
control of my
가장
inner
힘들었던
self,
것으로
building inner
생각됩니다.
power and strength,
이 검도라는
because
것은
in sword
이
art,
외적인 물론 외공도
the inner power is more
중요하지만은 그
important than
내면적인
the
수련,
external power.
즉
So only when you overcome the weakness of the self, you can truly experience the power of the inner self. That, I think, is the essence of the Haidonggumdo. In Haidonggumdo school, since you play with the real sword, there are lots of emphasis on spiritual attitude, etiquette,
예의라든지
physical strength,
또
stamina,
더 나아가서는 이제 순발력,
and all these
그다음에
things
또
are important.
운동량이 상당히 많은 운동이기 때문에 그
For
각
today's
체력
professional workers, I
단련이라든지
think
여러 가지 면에서
gumdo
이
is
검도
excellent
수련이
to
그
reduce stress.
현대인의 그 각종 스트레스를 해소하는 데에는
Candlelight extinguishing technique is something that every student wants to do. It's about the energy from the sword called gumgi. Gumgi is possible when you synchronize the external energy and
내력이라는 것은
internal energy
외공의 힘과
through the sword
그 내력의 힘이 동시에
And
한
make
곳이 될 때
them explode at
나오는
the same
기를
place at the
그런
same
길을
time.
내려면 외부적인 힘도 필요하겠지만은 단전 호흡이라는
단전
그런
호흡,
호흡법을 통해 가지고
A special breathing exercise is good to build such
단전
power.
호흡하는 것은 저희들이 여지껏
In dungeon breathing, you squat down to horse riding
기마
stance,
자세라는 걸 서가지고선
planting your both feet
양손에
firmly,
걸려서
keeping
양손을
your fingers wide
양이라는
open.
그 길을 빨아들이고서요. 그리고
Then
발에서는
observe the
땅에 있는
energy
힘을,
from the
있는
earth
길을
through your feet
받아들여가지고
and from the
몸에
heaven.
있는 단전이라는 곳이 있는데
from the head.
길을 축축하는
Then
단전이
save
있습니다.
them in the
내려가서
container
쌓아서
called the
그리고
dungeon that is
검과
located 2 inches
내 몸이
below the belly
일치가
button.
되어가지고서
When you
함께
strike
검을
the sword, you
내치면서
can
그
release the reserved
거기에 있는
energy
주위에
in
있는
the
것을
dungeon to destroy the target.
파산시키는 그런 역할이 되겠습니다.
My name is Kye-seung Lee.
저희가 전래된
I also
단전
use
호흡법이
dungeon
있는데
power
그 호흡법을
efficiently
통해서
in
길을
candlelight
썼습니다. 길을
extinguishing
써서
technique
그
by
길을
fist.
내 주먹
I bring out the dungeon energy through my arm and fist and shoot it out to the fire. It is not possible in a short
내 온몸의
period
힘을
of practice.
길을 모으고
You
정신력을
must take
집중을 하고
time
정신력을
to
모으고
develop your
길을
mental
모으고 하는
power
거죠.
and the
근데
capacity
보통
to
사람들은
accumulate
다 누구나
the
길을 가지고
key,
있지만
which is
그
energy.
힘을 밖으로 내뻗지를
Everyone
못하는데
has
저희는
the
단전호흡을
internal
하면서
energy,
그
but
뻗는
only
걸
a
연습을
few
계속
can
하죠.
bring that out. Dungeon hope is an exercise that enables you to do it. I feel peaceful and strong before I release the energy. It's a total focus without any distraction.
그러니까 손
The
발에 하는
power
힘이나
that
뭐
extinguishes the
이런 것이
candlelight
아니죠.
is not
내
the
주먹
one of the wind from my hand,
주먹하고 초하고는 좀
but it's the
떨어져 있어요.
invisible
그러니까 그만큼
internal
떨어져 있는
energy,
거는
as you can see in the
바람으로
demonstration.
치는 게 아니라는 걸 그걸
There is a certain
네,
distance
그렇게
between
거기
my
앞에서
fist and the light. If you practice 4 to 5 years, you may extinguish 5 candle lights. I can extinguish 30 candles, lights, and more. There are many people who have practiced 10 years and still cannot do it. But I've been always practicing the energy releasing technique. So, how do you feel like when you punch? Well, when I strike, I sense that streams of energy go out of my arm to the target. When the dungeon is full of energy, you can feel the energy traverse across your body, and it goes to everywhere.
그렇죠. 그러니까 뭐냐면은 기라는 것은 이렇게 단전에 힘이 있는데 그게 막 움직입니다.
Ki is moving around in the body. That is a form of energy.
그게 이렇게 밖으로 나간다는 얘기가 되죠. 그러니까
So if you can bring that ki out of your body through your fist, you can extinguish the light. So when you direct the energy to a specific channel, it becomes a powerful weapon. It's like to the water that comes out of the hose.
특별한 건
서로 도와줄 수가 있어요.
We practice together most of the time since we teach Haidonggumdo as a husband and wife instructors. I feel that we share very important common ground about life together. We discuss the art, run the school, and practice together. So it's a great way of communication between us. Geographically speaking, Korea is located between China and Japan, which caused constant conflict among them. Throughout the Korean history, there have been 936 times of invasions from either China or Japan. They are only major scale wars and conflict. In those hostile environments, Korean people developed unique ways of using sword for national defense. Korean martial art influenced the Japanese and Chinese. Most of the Japanese martial art have had a significant influence from Korea. Haidonggumdo is a traditional Korean martial art that influenced the neighboring countries. Now it's common to find similar techniques in Korea, China, and Japan. The characteristic of Haidonggumdo is that its movement, direction, and cutting angles are very diverse. And the power comes from the focused energy of the graceful maneuver. The essence of the Haidonggumdo is a truly Korean spirit. We are constantly developing the art so that it can appeal to many more people from different nations. I'm sure that the traditional Korean sword art will become a popular sports activity for global family in the 21st century. Jung-ho Kim, who is the president of the World Haidonggumdo Federation, and all his staffs are working together toward that goal.
영향을 기울여야 되고 우리 모두는 힘을 다하겠습니다.